Guys, this is Braden here with Murdoch Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing this White Shark Glide Beyond Mix Pro underwater scooters. That's right, an underwater scooter. The kind of stuff that you really wish you had as a kid and now you can get and be the coolest person at the pool and at the beach. Here we go, we're jumping into it. Also, a huge shout out to the company for sending this for my review. I am absolutely thrilled for my kids to use this. All right, first thing out of the box, we have this little buoyancy float. This is great if you're gonna be swimming up to 4 meters below the water. This will help it so that it's a little bit easier to maneuver and manipulate. Oh, yeah. So here we have the device itself. As you can see, looks amazing. I love the little gold accents here, the little red triggers here on the front. It's actually super comfortable. This thing has a little bit of weight to it because it can actually propel you up to just a little bit over 4 miles an hour at top speed, 2.8 miles an hour on the lower speed. Love the way that it looks. Also has another spot here. So this is to connect to the little buoyancy float there. Okay, so I just pushed this little button on the bottom. That's where you're gonna put your battery. I really like the design. It's just so simple, easy to use. I also noticed that there's a little security thing on the side. For me, I've got kids. I wanna make sure that they do this safely. So when I'm not around, I don't want them to use it. And this is how you can do that. You can lock it and unlock it. All right, what else do you get? You also get a smartphone mount, and this little smartphone mount actually goes right on the front part of this little buoy. Here we go, like that. So when you're riding, you can get your own reaction, either having it facing you or having it facing away so that you can show your followers, your friends, your family what you see underwater. You also get this battery charger. This thing is incredible, and actually this thing charges fully in 2 hours, and it has 1 hour battery life. You also get the battery itself, a nice heavy-duty battery with a little cover on the top. That's how you connect everything together. This thing is no joke around. Also, when you're going on a plane or flying around, you can take this battery out and you can carry this with you so that it's not stowed underneath. It also comes with a safety strap, a little harness so that you don't lose this thing when you're swimming around to Davy Jones's locker. All right, before we take this to the pool, I want to show you a few close-ups of this thing because I just can't emphasize enough to you how freaking awesome this thing is. Now, I've used something called a bob before, which is a big metal contraption that also swims underwater, but this is going to be 100% easier to carry around, take with you on trips. For me, snorkeling, scuba diving, even if you're doing things like just trying to train for how to hold your breath underwater, or if you're just having a fun time at the pool, trying to play tag underwater, etc., this would be a great, very, very light and fast way to do it. All right, so I'm going to hopefully show you a little bit of the details here. As you can see, this thing is just super well made. It doesn't have too much weight, but it is a good amount there. I love the little orange blade feature in there. That's so cool. Okay, let's get this thing plugged in to the battery. So to do that, you just pop this little case off. Ooh, yes. Just like that. And now you're ready to rock. So to first turn it on, you're gonna hold this for 3 seconds, and then the power light's gonna come on. It's gonna look something like this. Then once you're done with that, it's ready to rock and roll. Now it defaults at a slow speed, which is this. But then if you double click the right trigger, you get the yellow high speed. And that's kicking out quite a bit of air, so I think this thing is gonna be hauling underwater. And then the product automatically stops and turns off after 10 minutes of no use. The other thing that this does is it doesn't have a screen on here, which is actually quite nice because then you can save your battery, but it does have these LED lights that kind of blink depending on what you're doing. So with this, it shows that there's 5 battery stars. That means that you're good to go for a long time. That's about an hour of charge. If these start going down, obviously that means that the battery's getting low, and then it does do some pulsing and stuff when it gets really, really low so that you're aware of how long you have. Let's go ahead and mount this little floater piece on here. So there you can see it's easy to put on, and then there's still a little spot on the front here to mount your sports camera like a GoPro. Okay, now I've got the smartphone mount on there. I really like the design of it. It has a little thing that you can pop off and twist so you can get it on there securely. And then you can have it horizontal, you can have it vertical, and again, you can adjust this so it's nice and tight. You're not gonna have to worry about losing your smartphone. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you guys how this thing works in real life. Starting out, I mounted a smartphone on the front of this thing to give you kind of a first-person view. This here's me riding through the water. This thing is such a blast. It goes surprisingly fast. This is on the low setting. The high setting is obviously even faster. I had kids in the pool that were just checking it out, super jealous, obviously having an absolute blast. And then here is how much water this thing shoots out on low mode. Thanks to the company for sending it out. Go check one out for yourself.